So question one, emotional healthy spirituality. We've been talking about looking at our emotions, asking the questions why, and asking God to meet us in those places and to feel things that maybe we've learned to suppress and we've learned to push down. We want to feel these things. And in feeling these things, the goal is not just to feel them. The goal is to say, why are these here in my life? And are these emotions that I have suppressed or pushed down or ignored, are they affecting my behaviors? Are they affecting my beliefs? Are they affecting my thoughts? Are they affecting the way that I look at others, at myself, at God? And we're going on this journey toward emotional health, but to get there, you have to ask a lot of these hard questions and be open to it. And the question was this: if I do this, everything comes apart. Anybody feel that? Like, if I start to feel things, if I open up the Pandora's box, so to speak, of these things that I've been managing for years, maybe everything just blows apart. How do you do this in normal life? And so here's my encouragement to you. For those that might be asking that question, how do we do this in normal life? He is faithful to walk with you into these emotions and into this journey, and he's faithful to walk with you through the journey. His goal isn't to have you have a breakdown. He's not wringing his hands like, open it up, let's watch your life fall apart. Like, God does not want your life to fall apart. He does not want you to have a breakdown. But there's a really good chance that if you don't deal with the deeper realities of your spiritual and emotional life, you are going to have a breakdown. So it is not God causing a breakdown, it is God helping you avoid a breakdown by giving you a breakdown. No, I'm kidding. I love you guys. But if you're just holding everything together and staying under some semblance of control, there's a really good chance that you may not recognize it, but holding it all together is actually leaking out on other people. And the things that you're not dealing with are still impacting you, your heart, and the people around your life. So we can continue to ignore and do the religious behavior stuff, and we can ignore the things that are going on, but we have to understand that in ignoring those things, you are still impacting and affecting and leaking out onto the people around you. I would say it like this, is that there are seeds on your life, and everywhere you go, you are dropping those seeds, and those seeds are coming to life in the soil of relationships and people around you. What kind of seeds are you dropping? What kind of seeds am I dropping? And I want us to pay attention to those things. And I understand that just tackling this stuff in the midst of normal life feels extremely overwhelming. But you have a choice. You can either cause yourself to pause. Like, if we're using the breakdown example, think of it as a vehicle, and you're leaking a little bit of oil. There's some tires that need to be rotated. There's some things that need to be taken care of. You can go, oh, don't worry about it. Just keep going, just keep going, just keep going. Like, forget about it. Or you can pay attention and say, you know what? We probably need to take this car in for a time of maintenance, or we need to pull it into the garage, take some things apart, and get it to a place where it is now okay to drive around. Because just like in our life, if we don't stop sometimes and take care of the things that God is pointing out, then there is going to be a breakdown. But the breakdown doesn't get to be chosen. The spot you break down doesn't get to be chosen. It's going to be a place where you could be out there pushing way too far, going way too far, and it breaks down. That vehicle breaks down. And sometimes the vehicle of our spiritual and our emotional life, when we're not caring for it, or we haven't been taught to care for it, and we ignore the warning signs, there will be a breakdown. Where is it going to happen? I would rather that we choose to do it within community, within safety, within the process that God is giving to us or offering to us, instead of just pushing until it happens. That's not God's heart for us. And I want to say this too, is that too often we equate breakdown to failure of faith rather than the inevitable result of faith. So if this faith, this journey with Jesus isn't working for you, I want to say, join me and everybody else, because the whole point of me putting my faith in Jesus is that everything that is working on its own starts to kind of fall apart, because the whole point is that I'm placing all of my life on Jesus. And so my old coping mechanisms and my old feelings of control and the ways that I might get the things that I want, those things used to make life work. But the whole point of faith is that I am now throwing myself onto Jesus, and those old ways of doing things, they no longer work. So when I'm saying to you, following Jesus means you're gonna feel a lot of times like this isn't working. That's the point of faith, is that you're releasing the old things that used to work in order to rely fully on Jesus. And he is allowing us to come to that place of radical dependence on him, even if it means that some of our mechanisms and ways of getting what we want and doing the things and controlling stuff all come apart. The more that I anchor my life in Jesus, the more that the inauthentic and counterfeit things will fall away. And it's easy for that to feel like this isn't working. It is working. It is working. Okay. So, if I do this, everything comes apart. How do I do this in normal life? I would say approaching this as preventative care rather than diagnostic care. Preventative care is this: we're looking at our life and we're saying, I want to get ahead of this breakdown, as opposed to waiting for the breakdown and then diagnosing it and going, well, there's your problem, right? Why is it that when you are a kid and you're learning to take care of a car and the car breaks down and your dad shows up to pick you up and he's joking around and like your head gasket has blown and there's oil leaking and he's like, well, there's the problem. Like, thanks, Dad. But why? Because he's been telling you, change the oil, rotate the tires, fill the blinker fluid. He's telling you to do these things over and over and over. And when you're not doing them and you break down, your father's gonna show up and go, what happened here? And so what we want is, we don't want to wait until the breakdown and go, there's your problem, there's your problem. We would love to be people as a community who say, what does it look like to be proactive in our emotional and spiritual health and our discipleship with Jesus, to get ahead of this stuff, to approach it more like we're going to the gym. You guys all go to the gym? I mean, we all have tried to go to the gym. We've done the January thing, right? Where everybody's like, we're all signing up. We're all going to do a thing. We're going to change. This is it. Why does that fail? Because we try to do everything all at once. We're like lifting this thing and we're running and we're changing our diet and we're changing what we want. We're changing our sleep pattern, all of that stuff. It's good because it's preventative care, but if we get carried away trying to do everything right out of the gate instead of having patience with the process that the Lord has us in, we might run ahead and burn ourselves out. I want us to be people who do approach this like a gym community, where we celebrate each other when we're working on things and we're tackling different areas of unhealth to bring them into health, and when we're doing those things. I love that. That is preventative. And I think that the point of us, how do we do this? How do we survive? How do we make this work within regular life? Don't wait for a breakdown. Do preventative care on your emotions, on your heart, and on your spiritual life and your spiritual health. And be in a community like this where we can do that together, right?